Welcome to another episode here at my YouTube channel. My name is Tom with the call sign Lima Bravo 6 Quebec Juliet. And today's episode, I really want to talk a little bit about something important that a lot of people is not necessarily recognized for the job that they are doing within the amateur radio hobby. And I want to give out talk a little bit about it, and also want to give a shout out to people that is actually doing it, that is using a ton of money and ton of research, a ton of research for that matter too, and resources to actually do it. And that is those who are sending out SWL card or shortwave listener cards. Um, Being a shortwave listener is it's not a radio amateur in that sense, but he is integrated into the hobby by listening to various types of radio amateurs that is having contact with each other or QSOs. And if you are lucky enough, you can actually get a SVL card, not QSL card, but the SVL card that confirms your contact with the other amateur you had with other people. And a lot of people are actually just tossing these away or not even responding back to that individual or that shortwave listener that sent you that card. And I want to talk a little bit about it. So, what is a shortwave listener? So, a shortwave listener is, well, basically, for me to make this episode, I put in some questions into Grok, or the equivalent to ChatGPT, in order to get some topics to talk about. And actually, one of them, were a little bit surprised to say it. But a shortwave listener is a person that is using a radio amateur station not to send, but to listen to different broadcasts, to and document and log the contact between one radio amateur that is sending and receiving a confirmation from the other amateur radio. So basically, he's there just to listen that there were a contact between two radio amateurs, no matter if they were a valid QSO or not. And so I got a QSL card, a SVL card from Belgium. His name is Peter, and with the shortwave listener call sign Oscar November Lima 5923. And actually, I was a little bit surprised that in Belgium you are allowed to have a shortwave listener call sign and an amateur radio call sign, because apparently he has two and he can have both of them at the same time. But in Norway, I need to get in contact with NRL on this one, and I'm definitely going to send him a letter in a few days, because I want to dig in a little bit into SVL. So I do plan, if I can get my shortwave listener call sign back, I might actually try to make a SVL card and just try to listen to people. That would be awesome. But either way, they are logging. I just read from this card that I got. They're logging the day, month, and year, the UTC time, the megahertz or the frequency, the mode, and the RST that we are sending to each other. So they probably just listen to the entire conversation and they just write it down. And then they are writing it down of who I was in contact with and the other one I contacted. Well, you understand. So it's practically just a QSL card, but it's an SVL card, a listener card. And I think this is actually awesome, because this card is like double layered, and they probably cost a lot of money. So it's investing a lot of stuff. And this one it's the SVL number 15,320. So I'm just have to take off the hat on this one, because he's been sending out over 15,000 QS or SVL cards. That's pretty impressive. And I sent him an email, and he was really out there when I contacted him back, and I told him that I would send a card back to him, and he much appreciated that. That made him happy. All right, so now the next one, I had 4 different answers back from Grok, and I want to talk about each of them. The next one is a confirmation that my signal was reached out to another amateur. And this is actually very, very useful for me, because if well, I live up here in Norway, and if I'm having a QSO with a guy from Germany, but a SWL listener were down like in the foot of Italy, it means that he heard me, but it also means that I was sending out with a little bit too much power. So this is actually very useful for me, because I could figure out if I was sending with too much power or too little power to an amateur. So this, I love it. But this the next one also surprised me a little bit. It could actually help you out getting diplomas. So let's just say that you were not able to get a full QSO with another amateur that could lead to a establishment of a diploma that was sent to you by someone. But in theory, you could actually use this SWL card to document the QSO that you had with the other amateurs, so you could probably get the diploma. So this is actually quite useful. Even though not many people are paying attention to it. And having that someone is listening to me is also very beneficial to confirm that my equipment is working, that the antenna is working, the radio is working the way it's supposed to, because I will get feedback from him how he heard me on the RST. So that's very useful. And of course, it is a motivation for those who are doing it, and it is a huge part of the amateur radio hobby. And to be honest with you, it is a small niche part of the hobby, but so important. So, and here's the encouragement to everyone. I know I've been talking 8 minutes straight on SWL card, but I want to give a shout out to people that is doing SWL card. Don't give up on doing it. If you love the hobby and you like to send out SWL cards, and you are watching, you're listening to me, send me those. I love each one of them. I got 2, one digital and one with paper. So this is that's what I was wanted to talk about. And Grok is saying that SWL is the invincible supporters to the amateur radio. And I couldn't agree more. They are invincible because they're not allowed to talk to you, but they are there to listen to you. All right, that was it for this episode. Hope you like it. Bye bye.